Well, good morning everyone and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman here with another one of my 22 series videos. I went out in the woods this morning and did a little deer hunting, bow hunting that is. Had an absolutely beautiful morning, just gorgeous. It was cool, not much wind at all. The sun was just coming up over the east and it was just a very enjoyable time to be in the woods. But I didn't see hide nor hair of a deer, so I thought while I was sitting there this would be a good opportunity to come out here and make another video in my 22 series, because you folks out there are really starting to like them and they're taking off, and I've had several requests to do reviews on older vintage 22 rifles especially. But if I can get my hands on them, I'll bring you what I can. And today is one of those days. What I've got here on the table is something very old that I just recently acquired. It's another Remington, folks. This is a Remington Model 12, and as you can tell, it's been around for a while, It's been through the ringer. I've got two of these actually. This one here was given to me because it wasn't working at all. There were missing parts, and I found the parts. I took the rear and the front side off because I'm still working on it. I'll be attempting to restore this old gun. I just rebuilt the breech block, or the bolt, and I got it working pretty well. Seems like it's cycling like it should. I've still got some feeding issues to work out, but with any luck I'll get it back in good shooting condition, get it all refinished, reblued, and refinish the wood here. It looks like it's got some really nice walnut in it. This one here came with a metal butt plate, and this particular rifle here has an octagon or octagonal barrel, as you should properly call it. I've also got one that has a round barrel. So I'll be working on both of those guns, and hopefully I can get them both restored back into good working order. But what I've got here in the scabbard is something very special and also quite old. It was loaned to me by a good friend of mine, Richard Salerno. He's a local gun collector, and I asked him if I could borrow one of his Model 12s for the purposes of this video, and he was kind enough to oblige and let me borrow this little rifle here. Feast your eyes on that, folks. Isn't that gorgeous? It's a Model 12 in 22 caliber. It says here it'll shoot short, long, or long rifle. And according to the barrel code, the best I can make out, it was made in 1926. So it's nearly 100 years old. And I'm sure that the one I've got here on the table is over 100 years old. I want to say it was made around 1911 or so, which was when my grandfather was born. So it's been a long time ago, But this one is in absolute great condition. The barrel is in great shape. I looked down the bore with a bore light and it's really in pristine condition. Unfortunately, the barrel on this old Model 12 is going to have to be relined, because when these old guns were made, that was during a time when the ammunition that was available for the 22 came with corrosive priming and also with black powder as propellant. So if you took this old gun out shooting, or if you went hunting with it and you didn't clean it immediately afterwards, the bore would suffer because it would rust up and corrode. And this one's pretty bad. It's actually pitted to the point of you can barely make out the rifling. So I've ordered a new 22 barrel liner for this, so I'll be relining this barrel to restore it back to new condition. Getting back to this old rifle, you can see that he's got a peep sight that has been installed here. As you can see, it's attached to the rear here. These guns were not equipped with rails or any kind of scope attachment. So, you know, you had either your open sights, front and rear open sights, or you could further enhance the accuracy with a good peep sight. And I'll tell you, you know, these accessories for these old guns have really gone up in value, so there's no telling what this old gun here is worth. It's just an absolute beauty. I'm going to be shooting this little rifle down here at my 50-yard range, but I've got a target set up down here at 25 yards, and I want to make sure that the little rifle is on the money before I start shooting at those 50-yard targets. Before I do that, let me go over some of the statistics of the Remington Model 12. As you know, they came in different configurations, those of you that own these. Some had round barrels like this one here, and some had octagonal barrels like the one I've got here on the table. The Remington Model 12 was introduced in 1909, and it continued until 1936, and it was later replaced by the Model 121 Fieldmaster in 1936. And there were improvements made to this old gun by J.H. Garrison and Crawford C. Loomis. And this gun here in particular has a lot of those improvements incorporated into it. But between 1909 and 1936, there were approximately 832,000 of these little rifles made. They came in several different grades, grades 12A through 12F, some with really fancy wood, and they were just absolute showpieces. And then we had field grades and target grades. But many of the 22 rifles like this that were available back then came in this grade here, which was mostly used for informal target shooting and some competition target shooting, but most of the time, 99% of the time, these old guns were relied upon to put food on the table, folks, because they were around during a time of American history that was a real hardship for many families. And anybody that had a 22 rifle and had access to go to places where you can go hunting for small game would put food on the table with these old guns. And they were responsible for many a meal, you know, back in the day, because during that time there just wasn't much available. So there wasn't a whole lot of just wasting of ammunition going on back then. I remember an old friend of mine that lived through that time period said that they were so poor that they couldn't afford to go buy a whole box of ammunition. They would only get, you know, 5 or 6 rounds that they could buy out of a box, and you made every shot count back then because that's what you depended on for your supper that day. So these old guns, you know, were around during that time period, and there's no telling what's in the history of this old gun or the one that I've got laying on the table here. You know, I'm sure that they were taking a field during a time when things were quite tough for American families. But anyway, before I go too far into the history of these old guns, let's do a little shooting. Okay, for the first 5 shots, I'll be shooting at this little target that I've got set up down here at 25 yards, and we'll see how well the gun is on. I'll be shooting with the regular open sights at this target. Okay, now I'm going to be trying out the peep sight. Well, folks, this is the 5-shot group that I fired with open sights initially, and the first 2 shots went a little bit high, so I adjusted the rear sight and brought it down, but I'm still shooting a little bit to the right, but at least it's pretty well on level wise, and I got 2 of them in the target there. Then I switched over to the peep sight, and I was shooting a little bit high initially, and then I moved the peep sight down, and as you can see, my accuracy really improved using peep sights. So anyway, I think I got it pretty well dialed in. Let's take a few shots at those 50-yard targets and see how well this old rifle will perform at that distance. Okay folks, I got these targets set up down here at 50 yards. Let's see if I can actually connect with any of those. Back up just a tad here. I've got some cans on the ground I'm going to try and hit as well. I've got 10 rounds loaded up. By the way, that's the capacity of the tubular magazine on this particular model. And I'll be using the peep sights. So let's see how well we can connect here. I'm going to try for that bunny rabbit first of all. And there's a squirrel there with the bright orange bullseye on it. And there's another squirrel there. And I see a can down there next to that white water jug. I saw it move, but I'm not sure. I see a swinging target sitting right there. Wow, that was a dead center hit. I see a couple of cans sitting out front there. Let's try those out. See a little glint of sunshine every now and then hitting that can. Let's see if we can connect with that. That's kind of a small target. Not sure where that one went. Okay, that was a hit. And we're empty. Okay folks, now I'm going to try some of this 22 short target ammunition. Take one of these out, show it to you. Tiny little diminutive cartridge, and we'll see how well it shoots and cycles in the Remington Model 12. So let me get zoomed in here. I've got our target set up once again. There was one swinging target I did not shoot at. So let's see how many 22 shorts that the Model 12 will hold here. 15 rounds here of 22 short. I have no idea where these are hitting, but we're going to find out. I don't have a target on that bunny rabbit down there, but I'm going to make do the best I can, see if I can connect with that. That was a hit. Okay, let's try the squirrel. Okay. Okay. I need to hold dead on just like I did with the standard velocity 22 because that's where it's hit. Okay, I went ahead and loaded up some more 22 short ammo because that was just so much fun. We're going to shoot some more targets here. Let's see if we can connect with that swinging target there below. I see a can there shining just below that swinging target in the sun. Okay, let's go for that bunny rabbit once again. And the two squirrels. one can right there has really eluded me there. I think I popped him that time. Wow, this little gun performs flawlessly. I didn't have a single misfire, and it also fed quite reliably. Here you can see close up. I can show you how that cartridge feeds. Let me put it on safe here just to be sure. As you can see, that little cartridge is being lifted and delivered to the breech block or the bolt. So I'm going to finish the last few shots right here on these squirrels. Well, we can't end on a miss, can we? That was the last round, folks. But I've got plenty more ammunition here. Let's load up 5 more and take a few more shots real quick. It's just too much fun. This is one of those guns that you never get tired of shooting because they're just an absolute joy. They don't build them like this anymore, folks. I finally hit that can. And we're empty. Like I said, this gun performs flawlessly, and to keep it in good working order, we're going to clean it now and get it all back in pristine condition, clean the bore out, and I'll show you how to properly do that from the breech end. Okay, in order to take these guns down, first of all, of course, make sure that it's unloaded. Visually inspect the breech. Make sure there's nothing in the chamber or in the carrier. Take out your magazine tube, and then on this side of the gun there's a little screw right here. You just unscrew it, and then the gun comes apart just like that. Okay, we'll lay this aside, and then right here on the bottom you've got the breech block or the bolt, and what you want to do is just lift up on that and then slide forward, and that breech block comes right out. Now you can clean the face of the breech block, wipe it down good, put a light amount of oil on here, very light, and reinstall it. But most importantly, now we can reach the front of the chamber and be able to clean the barrel from the breech end, which is very important. And what I like to use are these soft cotton patches. Real cotton is the best. There's no need in getting too aggressive by using brushes or anything like that. I just put it on the end of my cleaning rod here, and I like to use a coated rod, you know, like this one here. It's got a coating on it so as to protect the delicate rifling, especially in 22 bores, because 22 caliber bores are not tempered as hard as center fire bores are. But I also like to use these on center fires. And I use the old traditional Hoppe's number 9 bore solvent. Dip my patch into the solvent and feed it right into the chamber with one smooth pass. Now I'm going to follow that up with some clean patches. Until I come out with a nice clean patch, then I know the bore is absolutely in good condition once again. It's really not necessary anymore to clean 22s every time you shoot because, well, that patch came off on me, but most all 22 ammunition is non-corrosive, and all bullets are lubed with a special lube that actually coats the barrel, the inside of the bore, and thereby protecting the bore from rust and moisture. Still got a little bit of grime in there, a little bit of lead fouling, not much. Coming out cleaner every time. Sometimes these patches like to stick together, so be sure you use one patch for each passing stroke through the bore. Okay, I'm going to run another wet patch through there because I still see some lead fouling coming out. Get them fed through there until they're nice and clean. Starting to get there, folks. Okay. These cotton patches are really high quality. They cost you a little bit more, but boy, they do a good job of cleaning that barrel. And they're really easy on the rifling as well. Wow, that barrel is as shiny as a new dime. Okay, now I'm just going to swab out the breech and the bolt. Just swab it out real quick. Make sure there's no debris or anything unwanted in there. You know, that little cotton swab there kind of came apart on me. Okay, get it all cleaned out real nice. You know, you keep these old guns going by taking care of them just like you would anything else. You know, if you never do an oil change on your car and you just run the tires and the brakes down to where there's nothing left of them, the car's not going to last you very long, folks. Before you know it, all you got is a piece of junk. So you take care of your equipment no matter what it is and it'll serve you well. Okay, now I got the breech all cleaned up. It's time to go ahead and clean this bolt face and the bolt body here. I just take a little cotton swab and used a small amount of Hoppe's number 9 and clean all the little recesses out. You know, everywhere where there might be some grime hiding. Get all that wiped off and cleaned. Clean up here by the locking lug. Make sure there's no grime or any lead or anything. And then I'll wipe it off. And I've got an oil cloth here that's very lightly impregnated with mineral oil. This is all the lubrication you need. You don't need to soak the action or the bolt or anything in oil, you know. Just a real light coating of mineral oil is all that's necessary. Now, to reinstall the breech plug or the breech block or the bolt, whatever you want to call it, right here inside the receiver you see this round recess right there. You want to align the locking lug on top of the bolt with that recess right there until you see it drop into place. And then you want to move your sliding arm backwards until it aligns with the bolt, and then just slide it forward with your finger. Now it's reinstalled. Okay? The hammer here, we're going to wipe it down, make sure there's nothing left on here. Get it all wiped down and clean. Once again, just wipe it down with a real fine cotton oil cloth. And then you realign both halves just like this until they meet up, and then screw the screw back down. If you feel that the threads are not engaging, stop, back up until they freely engage. You don't want to strip out those threads at all. Now I'm going to wipe the whole gun down. Get it all wiped down here with this oil cloth. Mineral oil is a very safe type of lubricant that you can use. In fact, it's so safe you can actually drink it and it won't hurt you. You know, some people use it as a laxative. So we got everything wiped down here. I'm going to reinstall the magazine tube, but I'm going to wipe it down as well. Make sure it's clean. You can feel a real light coating of oil on that brass there. So go ahead and reinstall it. And as I remember, he had some cleaning patches right here at the base of this peep sight, so as to protect the stock. Now I'm going to get it back to the owner in perfect condition. Well folks, thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed this little video featuring this really nice little Remington Model 12. One thing I forgot to mention is when you tighten this screw down right here, there's no need to use a screwdriver. Just use finger pressure. That's all that's necessary. You know, there is a slot in there that's really intended for a coin, like a penny. In case it gets a little bit tight, you can use a coin to loosen it. But don't ruin your gun by over tightening that screw. You know, your thumb and your finger is all that you need. So if you own one of these, take good care of it, because they're just absolutely fantastic little guns. So hopefully I'll be able to get this little rifle shooting as well as that one. I've got everything worked out mechanically so far. I've still got some feeding issues, but as you can see, it's locking up into place just like it's designed to. And then here on the bottom, there's a release tang here that you push in, and that unlocks the breech block or the bolt, and then It should be cycling just like it was designed to, but it's throwing the bullet off a little bit. Like I say, I've got some feeding issues and I still need to reline the barrel. I'm going to get it into shooting condition, and then I can get to work on the aesthetic part of the gun, you know, getting it all cleaned up, re-blued and refinished. So my hopes are high for this one, folks. That way I can get it out here and shoot it and show it off to you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close out the video, and thank you once again for coming along. And let me also once again thank Richard for letting me use his little rifle to make this video. I do appreciate it. Remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, whatever your outdoor pursuit might be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And also remember, hit that like button, smash the bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. And if you go shooting, make sure you do it safely, but have a good time. I'll see y'all. Take care.